Happy people don't cheat. Happy people don't lie. They don't judge or hold a grudge. They don't criticize. Happy people don't hate. Happy people don't steal. 'Cause all the hurt sure ain't worth all the guilt they'd feel. If you want to know a secret, you can't buy it, gotta make it. You ain't ever gonna be it by taking someone else's away. Never take it for granted. You don't have to understand it. But here's to whatever puts a smile on your face. Whatever makes you happy, people. Happy people don't fail. Happy people just learn. They don't think they're above all the push and shove. They just wait their turn. They always got a hand or a dollar to spare. Know the golden rule of what you're going through, even though they've never been there. If you want to know a secret, you can't make it, gotta make it. And you ain't ever gonna be it by taking someone else's away. Never take it for granted. You don't have to understand it. Here's to whatever puts a smile on your face. Whatever makes you happy, people. Ooh, ooh, ooh. These days ain't always easy to find. They're the ones that you want standing by your side. That's right. Whoa, no need for greed. If they need some, give them a slice. And we'll all be happy people. Well, life is short and love is rare, and we all deserve to be happy while we're here. Dedicated to some of the happiest people I know. Thank you so much. And welcome to Unity of Bon Air on a beautiful Sunday morning. Let's stand and affirm what we know to be true. God is good and all is well. Wonderful morning, beyond compare. I feel God's loving presence everywhere. I am filled with joy profound in a world where many miracles abound. In the garden of my soul,
Good morning, Unity. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Unity of Bon Air, where we live and express unconditional love and grow together in peace and prosperity. My name is Reverend Patty, and I have the amazing experience of getting paid to be the minister of this church, of doing what I love to do. And you all have the amazing experience of getting to volunteer and do ministry alongside all of us together. So whether this is your first time or your 100th time here, whether you're in person or online, we're grateful for your presence and participation in this special time together. We've come as part of love's divine purpose. This is the month of divine order. Just think of how order has called us to come and love and know one another so deeply. So we celebrate this connection we have within us and all around us that we call God. And in that spirit of community, we unfold in light and love all spiritual and religious gatherings and all people everywhere. So we especially want to welcome any of you who are here for the first time. If you're in the room, please raise your hand so we can give you a welcome packet. Any takers? All right, so we're all oldie moldies here. So we will see you in fellowship coffee afterwards. And if you're online and this is your first time, please be sure to visit the website, unitybonnier.org, to find the activities that are happening here. Let's see. So I have an opening funny for you. So 3 preachers were discussing the best positions for praying. And the first one says, the best position is have your arms up and be lifting your heart and soul to God. And the second one said, no. It's lying prone on the ground, just bending down, surrendering to the will of God. And before the third one could say anything, there was a telephone repairman working in their vicinity, and he said, let me tell you, the best praying I ever did was hanging upside down from a telephone pole. Okay, so let's see. Do we have our statement of truth up here? Oh, pray. Yeah, that's a good thing to do. So let's take a breath and relax our bodies, relax our minds, go into our heart space. Just give ourselves the gift of being still and feeling the presence and power of love within our very beings. That sense of peace, that sense of communion. And as we luxuriate in that, we bring into this circle of love all those who are in our prayer box and our families that are having some things going on in their lives right now. Silas and Taylor and Ethan, Chuck and Diana, Myra, Bill and Jennifer, who are back in our midst for the first time, Nancy Green, Teresa Kennedy, Hannah and Stephen, Edwina, Ann Marston, Jody, Reverend Thelma, Deb, Dana, Margot, and Bev Woldridge. And if you have anyone in your circle of beloved ones, we invite you to say their name out loud or silently and include them. And we continue to see these loved ones and to know in the depths of our being that love is present in the circumstances of their lives. That God is present because each one of them is one with the one. We know that love is ever at work in the midst of our lives, in the midst of our consciousness, and we just see the consciousness opening, and allowing it to feel peace and have faith that all is unfolding as it should. We continue to stretch out our reach to include our whole country as we go through a time of political stuff, getting ready for an election. We see our country letting go of us and them and living into the we of being brothers and sisters. And we hold in love and light all the leaders of all the countries around the world. Their hearts might be moved and open to recognize the incredible opportunity they have to serve not just themselves, but to serve all these people that are within their grasp, that they do so with compassion and care. And now we let the images of children run through our mind, those children and grandchildren that are so dear to us, and the children around the world that are our future. We see them in our minds smiling, healthy, whole, being encouraged to be all that they can be. And as we close, we take a moment to let our blessings float through our mind. Just let our vibration continue to rise up, because gratitude does that to an energy field. We close with our usual blessing. Please join with me. I am grateful. I am grateful. I am grateful. And so it is. Okay, now we'll have our statement of truth. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God, the omnipotent good. And before we sing, I got one quick announcement. So we've announced that we're doing special flowers in honor of anything you would like to bring forward. So is Becky in here? There she is. Becky, stand up. I want people to know this amazing story. Becky asked to put flowers in today, and 20 years ago, she was dealing with cancer in her 95% of the bones in her body, and she was given a stem cell transplant. And so today she's celebrating 20 years of the miracle of love. Yay! Working in and through and as her, and we see that continuing to unfold in vibrant health and wholeness for her. Right, now we're ready.
All right, let's all stand for the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Remain standing. We're going to sing another. another song. Today we're going to sing I'm Choosing Heaven Today. 1, 2, 1. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing joy today, yeah. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing joy today. Compassion, here we go. I choose compassion today. I choose compassion today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I choose compassion today. Heaven, here we go. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. Woo!
Good morning. I'm Reverend Lisa Marks. I am prayer chaplain here, and I am also secretary on our board. So welcome this morning. We'll start with our transformational opportunities. Our spirit group sign-up continue, and we appreciate your patience and willingness to use our new electronic registration process. We've learned a few things, and know it will serve us well in the future. So join the fun and fellowship by signing up for a spirit group today. We have spaces left, and sign-up will only run through next Sunday, September 29th. Our next What is Unity class will take place in October, so stay tuned. Next Friday, September 27th, we have our Giza Healing Sanctuary. Come experience this time of meditation, unconditional love, and short healing sessions. We start at 7:15 in New Rock Hall. For more information, there are flyers on the table just outside the sanctuary doors. And it is a lovely experience. If you have not done it, you should come and try it out. Susan Moncure's next art play shop is September 28th. This one is Let Go and Open to the Mystery Within and starts at 2 p.m. So Susan, stand up and let people see who you are. Excuse me? At 1 p.m. Please RSVP to Susan no later than Thursday, 9/26, to sign up for this fun and creative event. Our annual pet blessing is almost here, and Susan Green is here to share more.
How many of you have a pet? Don't limit yourself to furry ones. They could be feathery or spiky or slimy. Okay, more hands. How many of you have pets? How many of you know someone in the greater Richmond area who has a pet? How many of you like animals? All right then, 2 weeks, Saturday, October 5th, I expect all of you and your friends and your pets to come. And even if you just like a good time and seeing cute animals, you want to be here. We have a pet blessing that day from 1 to 3. We have Reverend Phyllis Ann Min, who blesses the animals. We have Reverend Lisa Marks, who will pray and bless animals who've made their transition, as we call it, have gone over the Rainbow Bridge. And we have a vendor or two. We have 2 nonprofits this year. Last year we had Richmond Animal League. This year it's Furbish and Goochland Pet Lovers that we are donating 100% of all the love offerings from that day. We'll have treats for your dogs and cats and treats for you. So you got to come and enjoy that. Let me make sure I said everything. Oh, big thing, I could use some volunteers. So if you have a little time that day, come and see me after the service. I'm probably going to be in the kitchen, or call the office and let Kim know that you'd like to get in touch with me. Thank you so much. October 5th, 1 to 3, be there.
That also is a lovely experience. It's so fun to see the animals come and get blessed. And then mark your calendars for next Sunday, September 29th. We have a full day with special guest Reverend Richard Bunch delivering our message, followed by a delicious potluck luncheon, and then Reverend Richard will host a great workshop on how to create a spiritual action plan. Please sign up for the workshop on the clipboard in the hallway, and then don't forget to bring your favorite dish for next Sunday. And just as a reminder for anybody who's interested in the Ignite Your Light event that's happening October 11th and 12th, the early bird special is until September 30th. Flyers are outside. If you have any questions, you can ask me about it. It's a beautiful fall season with amazing transformational opportunities here at UCBA. Be sure to keep up with us by checking your e-news, our website, and follow us on Facebook. And now we will do the daily word, which is healing. My thoughts, words, and actions affirm wholeness. Wholeness is my true nature. Even if I am facing a health challenge, divine life is active in every cell of my body. Knowing this truth, I hold healing thoughts and speak life-affirming words. While making sure to give my body the rest, nourishment, and care that will help it heal, I refuse to allow thoughts of sickness or weakness to grow in my own consciousness. I seek support among friends and family to share my belief in wholeness. As I have been supported, I offer my support. I feel honored when I am asked for healing prayer. I look beyond the appearance of illness, and with faith-filled vision, I behold and affirm the wholeness that is seeking to express more completely in the lives of those for whom I pray. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had been there for a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" John 5:6. So our affirmation is, my thoughts, words, and actions affirm wholeness. And we're going to say this 3 times together. My thoughts, words, and actions affirm wholeness. My thoughts, words, and actions affirm wholeness. My thoughts, words, and actions affirm wholeness. And so it is. And back to the music.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decision when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and I ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do. on my own. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and I ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Na 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 na. I am the place. Na 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 na. I am the place. Hey, I said I am the place. Hey, and you are the place. That's right. We are the place where God shows up. He's not up in the cloud. He's here. She's here, moving and breathing and having its being. We are the place where God shows up. Yeah. Hey Jude.
Thank you. Our music team is rocking it as usual. Whoops. Oh, there goes the world. That's my little ball. That's the world. They've warmed you up in one way, and I've got something else to warm you up before the talk. So in honor of our month of thinking about prayer, I have 2 books to give as gifts today. So whose birthday is closest to today? Who's got a birthday right around here? Bernard? Okay. Come here, Bernard. You get a book by, I've mentioned this book, my first talk I did this month, Discover Your Divinity by Linda Whitsett. Happy birthday, my dear. Okay, then the second book, probably a lot of you have this book, but I'm going to risk that somebody's going to get it that doesn't. So who has an anniversary of any kind that's closest to today? Okay. Do you have Joyce's book? Okay, do we have another person that has an anniversary? Becky, perfect. Come on up, Becky. Or wait, I'll come down to you. You've got, oh, okay. So Joyce was a woman of
Appreciate it.
Great prayer, so you'll get to read about what that looks like. All right, so I'm calling this talk Two Fabulous Stories on Prayer, and I think last year I used one of these stories when I talked, and it just keeps coming back around. So it's amazing to me how we can keep expanding our understandings of prayer, how we connect to the truth of our lives and our very beings. So if you're like me, I think, well, you would think we would run out of things to say. So like I told my sister, we were having a month where we were talking about prayer, and she goes, "You got to talk more than one Sunday on prayer?" But we keep pondering and speaking about prayer. There are many books in the Unity movement, and that one we gave to Bernard is one of the latest and best, and thousands more in traditional Christianity. So we just keep going. So we're going to look at two biblical stories and their connection to us having a life of prayer. And I'm sharing some insights today from that we have two groups doing Jim Rosemurgy's book called Gatherings of the Few, which has a focus on raising one's consciousness and having a global spiritual awakening. And the book is in the bookstore. So he has this incredible way of looking at things and talking about it in ways you've never thought before. So the first story, Jesus is on his way to see a man's daughter who was sick and told she is dying, and a big crowd is with them. So it's the equivalent of going to the airport in today's world, right? Everybody's piling in the plane, well, everybody's walking together. And in the crowd is a woman who's had a flow of blood for over 12 years. Well, never mind the fact that physically that does something, makes you weak, is terrible, but in that culture, having a flow of blood meant you were kind of an outcast. You had to be locked up, and God help you if you were a woman and had that going on. So not only was it physically terrible, but it was socially terrible. It was very isolating. So she was weak, but somehow she got this idea that if she just touched the hem of Jesus' garment, that she could be healed. So she pressed in close to touch it. In the Gospel of Luke, they have little variations in the different ones. Jesus says, "Who touched me?" So she touched the cloth, but she touched so much more. She touched his consciousness. Okay, now we're going to start interpreting what this means. Jesus was on his way to see a sick child. So was he thinking about, oh my God, I've got to go see this girl that's dying? Was he thinking about death? Probably not. Was he aware of the woman in the crowd? Probably not, until he sensed something with his energy. It seems likely that Jesus was centered in his thought on the one he called Father. His consciousness was brimming with life and wholeness because that's what he did. He thought about this stuff. And that was how he spoke and lived. He was ever speaking about love and light. He would say, "I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world." His thoughts centered in God, in love, in wholeness, not in illness or death, the little girl or the woman. His consciousness had no illness or death or flow of blood in it. So now I'm quoting from Jim's book. This is how healing works. The consciousness of wholeness demands no change. It sees nothing to heal. It is whole and complete. It is life in expression. There is no illness in it, so the natural state of the body becomes evident. This is more than healing. It is wholeness expressed. It is life being lived. So when Jim was here for my installation, I bought this book, Gathering of the Few, and asked him to sign it. And he wrote in the front of the book You are a thread in the hem of the garment. And I thought, So I had to read the book to figure out what that meant. So he suggests that our work is to be a thread in the hem of the garment, to extend our consciousness of wholeness, oneness, and love to all of humanity. We cannot thrust the garment on another or cover their hurt and pain, but we can be a light in the darkness, centered in the truth of who it is we are. Because now I don't know about you, but let me get some little dumb thing going on with my body, and I forget all the truth stuff I know. It's like, what is this? What is this pain? I'm just flipped out of the truth of who I am into, I'm this body, and it's not behaving right, and what am I here? So it's ridiculous, but that's how we deal with this stuff. So spiritual consciousness is the healer. I suspect that for many here, though not for all, this is true. The first couple Sundays that you were here, there were tears. Unity is the only church I have been to, and I've been to a lot, that has Kleenex boxes all over the sanctuary. And there's a reason for that. When we feel the power of love, tears come. When we release old thoughts that have weighed us down, tears come. When we are facing circumstances and we are uncertain, tears come. When we awaken or come home to the truth of our being, tears of joy flow. When Myrtle and Charles caught the sense that the very life of God, of oneness, of wholeness was within them, there was a fire that drew others to gather around them to experience this consciousness. The same consciousness that the woman tapped into with the flow of blood when she got close to Jesus. The same consciousness that arises here. We just heard the example of Becky, right? That it's not something that happened 2,000 years ago. This is happening here now in your and my lives, in your and my consciousness. There is one divine mind. How many times has the music here caused you to shed a tear? How many times have you had to get up and dance because the energy within you needed to be expressed? How many times has a story touched your heart and a tear came? This is what we are doing here. We are gathering in a spiritual consciousness that addresses every part of our lives, and the wholeness and joy rise up. We remember the truth of our being. One of my favorite Unity ministers up in the Ann Arbor area was Reverend Ernestine, and she was on the campus of Ann Arbor as the Unity minister to students. And she said when she had two children that they were raising, and the one kid said, I don't get it. We go to church every Sunday and they say the same thing over and over and over again. Well, it's that thing. We keep forgetting the truth of our being. We come together to remember again, oh yeah, that's right. I'm whole and complete. I have the divine power within me. I have all these gifts. So we're weaving a garment here with each one being a thread that allows all of us to stand in the truth of our being. We are so much more than this body suit that we are using. And when something is hurting or acting weird in our body, that's the first thing we forget. But a community helps us to remember the truth. So I want to be clear about this, especially for those of you who are new to Unity. We do not teach that if something is going on in your body, just ignore it and turn to your consciousness. No, of course not. We say, look at what you believe and what you are telling yourself. That's the work of consciousness. Then follow your inner guidance about your next steps. Making an appointment with a doctor or somebody that does energy work. Come to the Giza Circle for healing touch. get still and have a chat with your body parts like Myrtle did. Send them love. Call your prayer chaplain. Go into the silence and ask for guidance, or simply remember the power that is your divine inheritance. Do the thing or things that are yours to do. Okay, now to the second story. So I love this connection that Jim made. I'd never considered this. So we're going back to Hebrew scripture in Daniel 3, 1 through 27. We read this story about King Nebuchadnezzar, who made this big hunkin' gold idol and put it in the field and had a herald loudly proclaim, "Nations and peoples of every language, this is what you are commanded to do. As soon as you hear the sound of music, you must fall down and worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Whoever does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace." So pretty daunting, right? Some men reported, "Well, there are some Jews here whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, named Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who pay no attention to you. They neither serve your gods nor worship the image of the God you set up." So this made the king furious, and he summoned the three men. They were brought before him, and he said to them, "If you do not worship it, you will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand?" Little egoic, right? So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to him, just let this wash over you. "King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up." Well, that really got to his ego. So then he said, his attitude toward them changed to an even darker side, and he said, "Make the furnace 7 times hotter than it is now." Then he commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie them up and throw them into the blazing furnace. So they were bound, clothed, and thrown into the furnace. The king's command was so urgent and the furnace so hot that the flames of the fire killed the soldiers who took them and threw them in. And these 3 men who were firmly tied and bound fell into the blazing furnace. Then he was watching, as were some of his court, and he leaped to his feet in amazement and asked his advisors, "Weren't there 3 men we tied up and threw into the fire?" And they said, "Certainly, your majesty." And he said, "Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed. And the 4th looks like the son of a god." Then he approached the opening of the furnace and shouted, "Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, come out here." So they came out of the fire. The king saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair of their head singed, nor their robes, and there was no smell of fire on them. So this transpired a change of heart for him, because there was a God greater than his imagination. So Jim makes this connection. He suggests this story was in Jesus' mind when he said, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them," in Matthew 18. Jesus had this consciousness, this awareness that he was one with the one, and there was nothing to fear. When 2 or 3 of us gather and give attention to spiritual principles and cosmic forces, The consciousness we're holding releases something from within each one of us. The Christ consciousness brings forth the power of love, and unexpected blessings flow. Something bigger is happening than the sum of the parts, and that's symbolized by this you note in the story, the fourth person doesn't walk out of the fire, right? But symbolized by this fourth image seen in the fire, the something greater that is generated by holding the truth of who we are, the Christ consciousness within us. I suspect each one of us has had moments of this breaking into our consciousness. When someone's kindness opens a way for people to see beyond differences to oneness. You know, this happens to me all the time when I look at a video. I don't watch TV, but I watch these darn little things on YouTube. and I saw this amazing beer commercial. And it had people building a bar together. It came in a crate. And the two people were diametrically opposed in some belief, like gay was okay and gay was not okay. Something else was okay, something else was not okay. So they had to start building this thing together, and of course they were discussing things, and it could get a little heated, and they had to work through. At the very end, the direction was, okay, now go over to that ice cooler and get a beer out and sit down at the bar and have a drink. And the people, though they had been opposed and thought on certain things, they sat down and they left that bar that they had just made as friends. Something happened in the consciousness of those two people, and it brought tears to my eyes. When you've had a relationship turn south and you decided to choose love versus resentment or revenge, something changes and harmony is restored. I don't know if you remember Linda Whitsett Martella telling the story of how she married a black man and how her father would have nothing to do with her husband, their children for years and years and years. But she just kept holding. I'm not going to let hate defeat me in thinking about this. I'm going to continue to choose love. And it ended up he got to meet and be a part of his grandchildren's life finally when he gave up the holding the difference between them. So we don't see a fourth person walking around, but the energy of our field changes and we sense it. That's what's going on with that story in us. So I want to close by acknowledging divine order, the power of this month as we think about prayer and these stories. What was unfolding in these stories was divine order. First one thing happens, then another thing happens, then another thing happens. It's happening in a sequence that ends up blessing us. Charles wrote, everything in divine order grows from center to circumference. That is the law. Now, that is the law of your being of mine, but we interfere with that law the moment we divert our attention from the spirit within. So the first story is the story of Christ. He didn't get diverted from the truth of who he was, and it was so powerful it affected people who got, within touching distance of him. These two stories point to going back again and again to one's consciousness, to the thoughts and possibilities we are holding, to the powers we are considering. Florence Scovel Shinn has this beautiful affirmation. Divine order is now established in my mind, body, and affairs. You want to join with me in saying that? Divine order is now established in my mind, body, and affairs. Then there's one more sentence to it. There is one presence and one power moving in and through us in divine and perfect order. There is one presence and one power moving in and through us in divine and perfect order. I'm inviting you to trust and know this to be true in your own life, my beloveds. It is a cosmic truth. Love is at work. Spirit is at work. And so it is. Thank you all. And now let us bless these gifts. We're so very grateful for these gifts. We remember that the gift and the giver are one, and we send these gifts forward to expand the love and joy consciousness within this community in Richmond and around the world. I invite you to close the prayer with me. I am grateful, I am grateful, I am grateful. So it is. So I'd like to acknowledge our prayer chaplains. Would you please stand? So please grab one of these amazing beings of light that come to share their gifts with us here at the end of the service for prayer, and you will be so happy you did. And if any time during the week you want to put a prayer in our prayer box, you're welcome to do that, or you can call the office and leave a message. And now I want to acknowledge everyone who helped make today happen, starting with our greeters at the door, Safari and Marcy, our greeters to the sanctuary, our amazing music people, Dan and Deb in the back, and Lisa did our daily word. So let's give them our blessing. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are, and we see you doing amazing things. Now, I left out the fellowship team. We don't want to do that. Thank you to them. Or kiddos out there, come on in.
We are walking as the light of God. As the light, as the light, as the light, as the light, the light, as the light, as the light of God.
All right. Good morning, Unity. Take it. Sorry, excuse us. All right. All right, we had a wonderful day today, lots of kids, and this has been the first week in a while we've actually been able to separate them out from from age groups.
Woo-hoo!
So we want to thank Stephanie for being with our Uniteens, Ben and Bernadette for being with our kids. I was with our tots today, and I'm hoping they had a lot of fun. And last week, our YFM meeting went really well. We had a lot of people show up, and we're really grateful for everyone who did. So thank you for coming in, and we're going to be trying to implement some improvements over the next few weeks and just keep on improving and getting better and opening this up to more kids. Oh.
Yes, so
Thank
look
you.
what happened. We set the intention to improve YFM, and the very next week we're doubled in size, and we have 3 more adults leading. Wow. So let's give them our blessing. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are, and we see you doing amazing things. And I invite you to stand for our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family harmony. Let us walk with each other in perfect